Hello and welcome to another edition of Tax File. I am your host, Laure Bala Hassan, and I am thrilled to have you here. Today, we've got exciting lineup just for you. We'll kick off with the latest news. Then over to our Did You Know segment. Hear your opinions in our Vox Pop, and then we meet our guest on the professional insights. And end with What's on the Net, where we'll respond to some of the questions you have dropped on our social media handles. So sit back, stay tuned, and let's get started. And now, the news. Enhanced tax certainty, ease tax payment, harmonize taxes to drive compliance and achieve economic objectives of the government, amongst other principles, have been identified as reasons for the proposal of the Tax Reform Bill, which has passed its second reading by the National Assembly. It is to spread this message on the advantages of the bill and clear misconceptions surrounding it that the technical assistant on broadcast media to the executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, Arabirin Aderonke Atoyebi, organized a stakeholder enlightenment parley with the senior special assistants to the president on community engagement from the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Mariam Julde Adura covered the event for Tax File.
Special Assistant to the Executive Chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Olufemi Olarinde, giving an overview of the tax reform bill, outlined how multiple taxation creates leakages in the system and how the tax reform bill will address such areas of concern.
Today, we don't know how many agencies collect taxes. We don't know how many laws is used to collect taxes. So today, one agency can stand up and go to National Assembly and say, we need a particular tax. What National Assembly does is to put that tax in their law.
The technical assistant to the executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Arabirin Aderonke Atoyebi, in her paper titled The Role of Community Engagement in Tax Reform, was of the opinion that community engagement bridges the gap between policymakers and citizens. Therefore, she tasked the senior special assistants to the president on community engagement to enlighten grassroots communities in their geopolitical zones of the benefits of the tax reform bill using simple language.
Strategies for effective community engagement, tailored community. We can use local languages, like we said. It depends on, communication is usually peculiar to every region.
Declaring the forum open, the Chief of Staff, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Tayo Kolesho, thanked the SSAs to the President for their presence and enthusiasm to spread the tax reform bill message to their constituents. He said strategies must be developed during the parley to engage communities effectively and map out ways of demystifying revenue collection to drive tax compliance.
Your participation in today's discussion underscores a shared responsibility, ensuring that Nigerian public not only understand the tax reform bill, but also embraces its importance. Nigerian economic growth and national development rely heavily on an efficient and transparent tax system. As you all know, the tax reform bill is designed to streamline tax processes, close revenue gaps, and foster a more business-friendly environment.
At the end of the parley, some of the senior special assistants to the president on community engagement assured of their commitment to create strategic plans on how to pass on the tax reform bill message to the grassroots.
Because this tax reform bill is all about the people, and you want to get their feedback from, let them feel that they are carried along with this government, and that's why we're here, and that's our role. We've been doing this before now, but we must commend the organization for inviting us and even building that partnership.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service has outlined key objectives for the recently introduced withholding tax regime, emphasizing its alignment with global best practices. Among the goals are the adoption of internationally recognized standards for tax deductions at source. The initiative seeks to enhance the existing Tax Act, aiming for a more efficient and transparent taxation process. Mariam Julde Adura reports.
As part of the ongoing fiscal policy and tax reform, the deduction of tax at source or withholding tax regulation 2024, which, as the name implies, apply to tax deductions made from source at reduced rates, has kicked off. The regulation stipulates that a statutory body, a government, ministry, department, or agency, a public authority, as well as any other institutions, organizations, establishments, or enterprise, including those exempt from tax, are required to deduct tax at source on eligible transactions. In the case of a payment between related parties, deductions are made at the time of payment or when the liability is recognized, whichever is earlier. The amount deducted on any payments to a non-resident person will be the final tax, except where the income is liable to further tax because of a taxable presence in Nigeria. Some of the transactions exempted from source include goods manufactured or materials produced by the person making the supply, imported goods where the transaction does not create a taxable presence in Nigeria for the foreign supplier, telephone charges, internet data, and airline tickets. Penalties arise when a person required to make a deduction at source fails to do so.
In a bid to enhance the service's sensitization and enlightenment initiative, the Federal Inland Revenue Service has a routine event tagged Tax Thursday. The event has over the years become a veritable tool for the education of taxpayers about their obligations. Additionally, the initiative seeks to enhance the existing Tax Act, aiming for a more efficient and transparent taxation process. These measures are part of broader efforts to strengthen revenue collection, promote compliance, and foster economic equity within the tax system. Sa'ama Chido has the reports.
To kickstart this year's Tax Thursday, the theme, Harnessing Our Collective Strength for Exceptional Taxpayer Service Delivery in 2025. This maiden event of the year seeks to foster collaboration among staff in order to align effort towards enhancing the taxpayer experience, coordinate initiatives to effectively integrate individual and departmental strengths, and drive a culture to teamwork and continuous improvement in 2025. Staff of the service participate in the event enthusiastically in their bid to contribute to promoting service excellence and voluntary compliance.
In an effort to effectively communicate the tax reform bill to the public without the bill losing its substance, spokesperson of the Presidential Committee on Tax Reform Bill, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, has emphasized the need for a unified message to prevent conflicting interpretations of the reform bill. Outlining some of the challenges the committee is faced with, he was of the opinion that for the reform bill to be effectively communicated, political insights should be explored in translating the bill. Aisha Abdulkader has more.
The spokesperson of the Presidential Tax Reform Committee, speaking to the reasons why a technical approach to communicating the content of the tax reform bill is inadequate, stated that adding a political approach is crucial for the reform's agenda. He said the committee is determined to ensure unified messaging by leveraging on external support, despite the complexity of the tax reform process, in order to address public skepticism and improve communication. To lend its support to the committee, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has rendered technical support from one of its missions to the committee. The support focuses on enhancing fiscal policy communication, which is a crucial component of the reform's success. Mr. Oyedele reiterated the committee's readiness to simplify the reform bill in a manner that will be easily understood by the public. The structure of the committee comprises tax policy, law reform, revenue administration, competitiveness, fiscal governance, and management.
And that wraps up the news. Let's now join Ashu for our Did You Know segment.
Did you know you do not need a smartphone to access the service of star 829 hash? Dial star 829 hash from any mobile device on any network to check your TIN, verify your TCC, and so much more.
Interesting, Ashu. Thank you for that update. Over to Mariam for our Vox Pop segment.
Hello and welcome. My name is Mariam Julde Adura. Today we're in the markets to find out what people know about the new FIRS code star 829 hash. Come along with me. Do you know the new code that FIRS has that you see tax related information?
No, I don't know. Because it hasn't been made public. I don't know. It hasn't been made publicly.
FIRS has a new code that you just punch in your phone and you see everything tax related. Tax related information. Do you know what the code is?
Nope, I'm not hearing this for the first time.
Do you know that the FIRS has a new code? It is a code where you see all the TCC related matters, all the TCC related information. Do you know about that code?
I know.
What's the code?
I don't know the code because I don't have a business.
FIRS has a new code. When you punch it into your phone, you see everything about tax information. Do you know about this code?
I've heard about it, but I've not really go about the details of it.
So FIRS has a new code which, when you punch into your phone, gives you tax-related information. Are you aware of this code?
No. I'm not aware. Yes, I'm not really aware. Yes. They're just telling me.
And now to our professional insights.
So the Taxpayer Services Department was introduced to be an intermediary between FIRS, the tax administration, and the taxpayer. So our mandate is to make service delivery an integral part of tax administration. And in doing this, we need to simplify. One of our objectives is to simplify tax payment. So the USSD code star 829 is a service of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, which was introduced to make tax administration seamless for our taxpayers. The service allows our taxpayers to quickly access basic services such as their taxpayer identification number retrieval. So if you don't know your TIN, you can quickly use the USSD code to find what you're to do, to find your TIN using your RC number or company registration number, business registration number, and you can retrieve your TIN. You can also use it to verify your tax clearance certificate, that's ETCC, to know whether the tax clearance certificate that you have been issued is authentic from the service. You can also use it to access the location of your nearest tax office or find where your tax office is located, as well as make general inquiries. So it's a service that is meant to make, like I said, make tax administration seamless and simple for the taxpayers. USSD code is actually introduced to enable those without internet access to be able to access our basic services. So once you have a phone, you can use the USSD code to access these services without the need for internet access. So if, for instance, maybe you even have a smartphone, but you have no internet access, that's not a problem. You do not need an internet access. So taxpayers in the remotest part of Nigeria can access this service and find out all this basic information that I mentioned. So it also serves to simplify our tax process, because at the tip of your fingers with your mobile phone, you can access these services. So it simplifies, brings tax compliance home to you. You don't need to go to a tax office to do some of this quick and easy, to have quick and easy access to information that you need to comply with your taxes. The response has been very encouraging. We've had over 17,000 hits across 3 networks. The only network that we've had challenges with that is not really recording any hits is 9Mobile. And that technical issue, whatever it is with the telecom, is with the telecom, not the service. We are working on it, on resolving it. But so far, the number of hits in just 3 months of introducing the service, even though we've not really advertised it, we have not really taken it out, done some kind of campaign on it yet, we have over 17,000 hits in 3 months. That suggests to me that the service is actually serving a need in the tax community, business community, something that they have that simplifies and makes tax compliance seamless for them. So the response has been really good, and we are hoping even for a better uptake by the time we actually take the product out and advertise and publicize it, this year. In 2025, one of the focus of the strategic focus of the service is to integrate technology integration, more integration of technology into our service offerings. That means that we'll be more using a lot of technology, and also looking to use, technology to solve a lot of tax administration problems. So for the Star 829, for instance, we are exploring, or taxpayers can expect that maybe we'll add features like payment. Right now, there is no payment feature on the Star 829. That's number one. Secondly, we're looking at releasing Tax Pro Max version 2. The first version, which is what is currently in use, had some limitations. So we're working behind the scenes, fine-tuning the technology department is going to be adding some features to it to make it even much more taxpayer-friendly, in line with our focus of being more customer-centric. At the moment, yes, the Star 829 is not free. It costs 100 naira, yes, to access the service. But once you enter, it doesn't charge you for navigating from one point to the other. It just, you just enter and you pay 100 naira to be able to access any of the features there. And yes, even though there has been complaints that the service is expensive, one thing that taxpayers need to understand is that it is not solely an FRS. It is, it's a tripartite or more than tripartite agreement between FRS, the NCC, the service provider, and each of the telecommunications companies. Therefore, they need to be paid for, each of these third parties need to be paid for offering that service, and that's why there has to be a charge on it. However, FRS is taking into account the feedback from taxpayers, and in due time we're looking at making that service to see if we can make it free. I'm not promising, but it is something that the service is seriously looking into with a view to come up with a decision to see how the service can be free for our esteemed taxpayers. I'd just like to say to our esteemed taxpayers, first of all, I'm grateful, thankful, a very big thank you to our taxpayers for their commitment to nation building. FRS has the responsibility to collect taxes, but we cannot collect these taxes without the cooperation of our esteemed taxpayers. So I want to say, as Director of Taxpayer Services, I want to say thank you to our taxpayers out there. I also want our taxpayers to also know that the Taxpayer Service Department has a new vision statement, and that is to empower our taxpayers through excellent service delivery and transparent tax administration. So this is the promise of the department to our taxpayers this year, and they can expect that their concerns, the feedback we've received from them over the years and throughout last year, we are working to ensure that they do get the service that they deserve. So I want to encourage our taxpayers to come forward with any concerns, any issues they have. We have the contact center. They can call us on our contact center number. They can interact with us through the email, the help desk email. They can also visit us at number 15, our walk-in center at number 15, if they have any challenges. They should know that we are here to serve them and that the customer is king in FRS going forward.
Let's join Amina on what's on the net.
Welcome to What's on the Net. I am Amina Adiola Abbas. Today on X, at Neighborhood 61 says, trying to register on Tax Pro Max on your platform. After OTP is sent, I keep getting a server error message. Can one register and get TIN online without visiting the office? Well, yes, you can register and obtain your TIN without visiting a tax office. Simply visit www.firs.gov.ng and click on the register button. If you encounter an error message after receiving the OTP, it is likely due to a network issue, either from the taxpayer's end, poor connectivity, or temporary server downtime caused by system upgrades or maintenance from our ICT unit. These downtimes are usually resolved quickly. Also, on X, at Uncle_Pro is asking, how does one obtain tax clearance certificate for a new business? For this, a newly incorporated business can obtain its tax clearance by visiting the nearest tax office to register manually, fill out forms, and submit required documents such as standard questionnaires, taxpayer registration forms, CAC documents, and TCC applications. The physical file will be opened and the certificate processed within 10 working days. Subsequent tax clearances can then be applied for and obtained online.
And that's a wrap on Tax File for today. I hope you found the episode interesting. Don't forget to follow us on our social media handles. FIRS, Simplifying Tax, Maximizing Revenue.